Hello everybody, today I'm going to be reviewing a Polish film called Aida, but before I get into that, if you are shocked by the lack of books and movies behind you, fear not, this is a temporary location change. But anyway, on to business. This movie is very art house and smaller movie, so you probably haven't heard of it, but it's a film about a Jewish orphan nun who discovers that her family was kept hidden during the Holocaust and was eventually murdered. And she goes on a hunt with her long-lost aunt to find the bodies of her family members and the people who murdered them. It's a comedy. But in all honesty, it's a very grim, black and white film, and it's also very quiet. It depends very heavily on silence. When I went to go see the movie, you could honestly hear a pin drop in the audience. Everyone was just kind of breathless watching it because it is, really in a way just mesmerizing to look at. It could almost be a silent film. It depends very much on the imagery, on the cinematography, and what the images are conveying to you. To me, when I'm watching the movie, I saw a lot of comparisons to great filmmakers, some of my favorites of all time, like Carl Dreyer, who's, a top 5 for me, and people like Ingmar Bergman. I wanted to honestly take each frame and hang it up on my wall. Everything was just so beautiful, so full of depth, a lot of deep focus in it, and it really allowed you to see lots of shadows, and it gave you a sense of isolation and confusion, just by looking at it. And also, you could see that interpreted through the characters as well. And I think it really captured Europe, a place that at the time in the 1960s was still dwelling in the aftershocks of the Holocaust. Because the film has this very kind of ghostly aura about it, there's always a sense of guilt that kind of threads the film together, and it's certainly, you can see it in the characters. The aunt in the film is very different from Ida, the nun. She's just, she's not chaste. She has sex, she smokes, she drinks, she's very conniving, and she'll do anything to get what she wants. She was once a judge, and she's always taunting Ida throughout the film. I mean, she says things like, oh, don't you ever just want to have sex? Or she's saying, oh, you're such a saint. She's, constantly kind of belittling her, and I think it's a way for her to make herself feel superior and less insecure. I mentioned before that, she was a judge at one point, and she says that she had sentenced people to death. And I think that she's an extremely unhappy character who may have a lot more opportunities to maybe, live life, quote unquote, than Ida does, but she's a lot more lonely and confused, I think. And then you have Ida, who is the main character, who has just the most captivating face, and with the black and white photography, when she's, staring, it looks like almost like she has black eyes. It's really kind of creepy, but enticing at the same time. And she's amazing to look at. She has kind of like a Louise Brooks vibe. That's how I felt, or maybe a Lisbeth Moven, one of those actresses. She's just, all she has to do is stare, and it's compelling. She's very, as I said, very different from her aunt. She's very quiet, and you're never sure exactly what she's thinking. It's hard to read her. Throughout the movie, you're trying to figure out what she wants to do, because she is torn between her devotion to God and wanting to, live a life of a nun, and also wanting to give in to temptation that she sees, with her aunt, her lifestyle, and just the people around her. I think there's been a little bit of criticism that Ida doesn't quite, or the actress that plays her doesn't quite convey enough through her face. And I'm not going to debate that. On one hand, I do feel like I never quite understood her motivations beyond just confusion and contemplation. And I wish there had been maybe a little less ambiguity, but on the other hand, I think that that's what the director's going for, and he's trying to make that point. Maybe you're never supposed to understand her, and that's kind of what the whole movie is. It's based on implication, and it relies on silent moments. There's never any spoon feeding for the audience, so I appreciated that. To me, this film is about humanity in a broad term, but it's how we choose to live our lives, how we choose to find fulfillment in life amidst tragic circumstances, or just, how we deal with the heft of death and anger and loneliness. as an idea that's always kind of a burden that's always sitting on our shoulders no matter what. And I don't think that the director is trying to choose sides here. He's not trying to choose between Ida's point of view and the Ents' point of view. No easy answers are given in this film. Both characters make very interesting choices. Some are expected, some are unexpected. I think more than anything, it's not only a beautiful film, but it's a very striking film. Everything seems like it's static. I mean, very few of the camera shots actually move. Most of them are just kind of in one place, and they're usually far away from the actors, long shots and things like that. But it keeps you constantly intrigued, and I think that's a testament to the director and just, you know, everything about it. It's beautifully made, and I think it's probably my favorite film of the year, and I would see it again in a heartbeat, and I probably will. So I think you should too. I definitely recommend it. And that's my review. Thank you all for listening. Please follow me on Twitter. The link is below, and I'll catch you guys next time.